We all had a really bad feeling about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2's release, and now that it's finally launched, it is going terribly. The user scores are terrible, the critic scores are terrible, and it is getting absolutely wrecked on social media. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community and my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, when a game is in development for 10 or 20 years, we automatically assume it's going to come out and be pretty bad, and unfortunately, that is exactly what has happened here. I would have loved for them to prove us wrong, but that definitely didn't happen. So it finally released today after years and years and years of development hell, and it is being called the biggest fumble of the year. It's got a horrible story, millennial-style writing, terrible character creator, day one DLC for the clans, which I do know they ended up backtracking on, which is good, but at the same time, it was their initial plan. RPG elements non-existent, no guns at all, humanity system removed, masquerade system removed, hacking and lockpicking removed, no stat checks and dialogue. Wow, did they really drop the ball with this game? Now, we had seen just a couple of days ago that the critic scores were pretty freaking rough. As you can see, it is sitting at a 65, and I don't trust the critics, so I had said we'll see what happens, though typically when the critics rate something really bad, it is either because of politics, which that wasn't the case here, or it's just a genuinely bad game and users are being just as brutal. The critics were giving it a 65, and there were even some going as low as 30s and 40s, saying it took 6 years, multiple studios, countless reboots, and a trail of broken promises to finally deliver Bloodlines 2. The result is utterly schizophrenic, a game too ambitious for its budget, yet too timid for its own universe. What was meant to reinvent the vampire RPG ends up merely mimicking its conventions. There's an okay vamp story hiding in here. Careful, dicey conversations with dangerous fellow vampires are by far the most interesting thing about it, and I enjoyed some parts of Seattle, particularly the dive bars packed with people gyrating to, of course, goth music, but they just under-delivered. The Chinese Room has managed to make something from a box of inherited parts, but this action RPG feels hollow and functional. Never good when you just say, oh, it's functional. I suppose that's okay. And taking to the user reviews over on Steam, it is currently sitting at a mixed, but it has gone up a little bit. It was originally at a negative, though I don't think that it's going to get into the positive zone, that's for sure. There's people already with hours upon hours in the game saying bad game, bad mechanics, unfun combat, fun parkour, good story, no weapons, no stats, no inventory. Are they mental? We removed everything you loved about the original. Enjoy this sequel. If it's not a true successor to the original game, then they shouldn't have named it as such, and this is the mentality I've always had. If you are not trying to basically copy the original game and just work off of the systems and characters and storylines that already existed, then just call it something else. And I know nostalgia is a very powerful thing. It's why Disney constantly does like live action adaptations and reboots, because they know that even though Snow White 2025 is very different from the original Snow White, there is still going to be people that see the name Snow White and they're going to go and they're going to monetarily support, but all you're really doing is killing your reputation in the process of making a few extra bucks. Why does this game need Paradox Launcher? Why is there no motion blur toggle? Why is there no FOV slider? Why are there no basic accessibility options in 2025 refunded? And there are some people giving it positives, saying, oh, it's really good, you know, I'm enjoying it. I was absolutely against the game for the longest time. After they removed the paywall for the two clans, I decided to give it a go, and then saying, first off, it's not Bloodlines, and that for me instantly equals a negative. It's called Bloodlines, therefore it should be Bloodlines, and if it's not Bloodlines, you're not getting my money for it being a non-Bloodlines game. That is absolutely insane to me. We are talking about a lot of positives here and recommended scores that are being given by people who clearly don't have a lot of love and nostalgia for the original, and they don't really know what made the first one so special, and so they're just shutting up and consuming product. They're allowing companies to continue to make slop because they're willing to consume it. And that is so sad that, yes, what had so much promise ended up being so bad. Like the TTRPG was great, the first game was great, and even though there's been a lot of development problems along the way, I was still hoping that this was going to come out and at least feel like they put a little bit of effort into it, and that definitely doesn't seem to be the case. Here are some other complaints of people saying there's no manual saves, restarting back at a checkpoint after dying does not restore your items, quitting out does not automatically save for you, it will place you at the latest checkpoint, any items you picked up and used will be gone when you reload that checkpoint, starting a new game overwrites your current game, you do not get to have multiple characters to play different clans. It doesn't actually matter that you can't do this though, because clan disciplines look like they can be learned by anyone if you have the right resources. Having a specific clan discounts certain abilities while the others are more expensive. No free roam after campaign completion, hardly any side missions, and only a small amount of collectibles. There's no new game plus feature. I mean, my god, it really seems like they put the minimum amount of effort into this possible, and the fact that they wanted to charge extra money for day one DLC is such a slap in the face. I think that this post is hilarious when you're reading reviews for Bloodlines 2, and most of them are saying it's a good game if you're not a fan of the first game or know anything about the lore. And it's so true. Like, when you really start paying attention to the scores, that is what a lot of people are saying. Nuri said, I just finished 5 hours of Bloodlines 2, and I can say with absolute certainty this game sucks ass balls and the life out of me. It fails on every conceivable level: voice acting, story, gameplay, combat, atmosphere, controls, all of it. It wants to be Dishonored, Cyberpunk, and Dying Light all at once. Instead, it's none of them. It's a soulless identity crisis of a game desperately trying to cosplay as something with depth. The writing flat, the characters forgettable, the vampire fantasy sanitized to death, a bloodless vampire game for people who can't handle moral ambiguity or a single dark tone. This isn't Bloodlines, it's Bloodlines the PG-13 corporate edition. You can practically smell the boardroom meetings and every scene, and it's just so sad that we have another game that people were excited for coming out and it being an absolute waste of your time, it being an absolute waste of your money, and really, it just significantly hurts the franchise that it's supposed to exist in. And of course, gamers are not taking this particularly well, as you saw by some of the posts that I just shared, but also some of the comments here. Vampire the Masquerade. Masquerade system removed. What a clusterfuck. No Masquerade in Vampire the Masquerade. You had one job. I mean, who needs guns or hacking when you can just whisper sweet nothings to your enemies and hope they don't notice you're a vampire with a bad haircut? No guns at all. Humanity system removed. Masquerade system removed. Hacking and lockpicking removed. No stat checks and dialogue. What do you even do in the game then? I guess stand around and say your cringe millennial dialogue. Sounds like they took out everything that made VTM interesting and then ripped off 2077's gimmicks. This shit is so ass. We all knew it would be a disappointment, but holy fuck. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this situation over the next few days. I personally had absolutely no interest in it once I saw so many of these systems were removed, and with the development hell that this title went through, I had said I'm going to wait to play it if I ever play it at all, and it doesn't look like they are going to be getting my money unless it's from a $5 bargain bin. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.